nice?
Yeah, it's beautiful. What a great day.
So what are we doing today?
We are hiking over Mount Ellen and getting to Mount Abraham, maybe? I don't know.
Well, we'll be halfway between there, I think,
Okay.
today. We're trying to get 6.6 in today.
It's a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous day.
We're going between Lincoln or
Appalachian Gap and Lincoln Gap.
And Lincoln Gap. So very nice. So we are on the Appalachian to Lincoln Gap section, right? And today, well, that section is about 11.1 miles. Probably wondering why we're on this section. We're jumping around a little. We wanted to make sure we enjoyed the nice, beautiful day. And so we'll probably go home on Tuesday night. And that way we can combine some of my vacation so that I have a total of 5 days vacation, and we can tack it on with a weekend in front and a weekend behind. Plus I'll have a day allowed for travel. So I guess we had a few learnings, right? I mean, we probably could have done the section which included the Buchanan Lodge after Taylor Lodge had we not been so intimidated by Mansfield with all the hype that people were talking about. One of the things we did when we went up Mansfield was we lightened our load. So I did not carry the tent, and Terry didn't carry the stove or the fuel.
It's called bare bones backpacking.
Yeah, so we did that, and that seems to help. We've done the same thing today. It's a little risk in that you definitely have to stay at a hut or a lodge. Today, I'm hoping there's a warming hut on one of the top of the ski hills that is open that we can get into. We'll have to make sure we get water before we get there. So we're jumping around a little. When we come back, we'll still have the camel hump.
Camel hump, yeah.
And that's the last of the 4,000 foot peaks that we have to get over. We're going to do 2 peaks in this section, Mount Ellen and Mount Abraham. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. Sitting at the Castle Rock chairlift and have decided to stay here for the night, and ran into a long trail hiker. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Katie, and I'm doing a 170-mile section of the long trail. I started in Rutland a few nights ago. This is my 5th night, actually, and I'm trying to get to the northern terminus, Canadian border.
That's great. Do you have a deadline as to when you have to be there?
I just have to be able to get back to school before it starts, which is August 19th, which I think is plenty of time to get there.
So, why did you choose to hike the long trail in your spare time?
So immediately before this, I was working on the Long Trail Patrol, which is the trail crew, the volunteer one. And I did 4 weeks of working on the long trail, like doing trail work and maintenance and setting rocks and stuff. And that ended, and then I had a big chunk of time, and I could either go back to Indiana and sit in my apartment, or I could do a big chunk of the long trail, and I thought that sounded a lot more fun.
So how hard was it to do the trail work? I know I appreciate the rock placements and things like that. Mm-hmm. So how hard is that work?
I thought it was really hard, especially I'm not in great shape, and a lot of the people I worked with were like, you know, athletes, runners, and like people who are super fit and do sports and stuff, and I'm not that. And so I really struggled a lot with the endurance, and just to like move really heavy boulders, you have to be really you have to be pretty strong. You have like these pry bars that help you get a mechanical advantage, but it still takes a lot of energy to do it.
Well,
it was really hard.
I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. So how did you hear about that job?
I was on I think the ATC website, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and I just had this big chunk of time at the end of my summer. I had been doing other things, and I wanted some trail work experience to kind of complement my major. I'm in forestry, and I just thought, you know, Vermont sounds cool. I've never been to the Northeast, so I just kind of picked it out of the list of trail crews.
So that's exciting because you're doing this by yourself, and so have you always been fairly independent? And
I think so. Yeah, I typically prefer to do these kinds of things by myself. I just like the freedom of it, and I'm pretty confident traveling alone. Last summer, I drove to Alaska by myself, which was also kind of another, like, at the time it felt like a really, you know, like a big accomplishment. It was a lot of, you know, so I'd like to do these kinds of things a lot. Yeah, I like to kind of push myself.
What does your family think about that?
My mom, my dad is like, you'll be fine, and my mom worries a lot, but I try to give her updates. I've been texting her like what shelter I stay at and what road I cross, so like she knows where I'm at, and she's come around to it. Both of my parents are they're excited that I'm, you know, having fun and you know, embracing life and doing fun things. So
oh, that's exciting. Yeah. So if you had to give advice to anybody, so this is your first time on the trail, what kind of advice would you give them?
Ooh. I would say the biggest mistake I made is going too hard in the beginning. So my first 2 days I did like 13, 14-mile days, and that was coming off of not hiking really at all. You know, I'd been working on a trail crew, but it's not the same. Yeah. And I had a bunch of blisters on my feet, and I had shin splints, and everything hurt. And so I'd say in the beginning, it's really tempting, especially if you're a hiker, to just keep going. But, you know, maybe like just go from one shelter to the next. You know, if it's 7 miles, that's an okay, like, first couple days.
All right.
You know.
So what was your most exciting thing on the trail? So you've been 5 days, right? 5 days?
Yeah.
What is the most unusual or exciting thing that you've come across?
Let's think. Honestly, I think today is the most unusual day in that I rode a ski lift. It was a little bit surreal. I was coming from a shelter, and we're in a ski area right now, and there was an operating chairlift, and I asked the guy, I'm like, can I ride it down? And he's like, sure. I'm like, with my backpack? And he's like, yeah, just throw it on. And I was just like sitting with my backpack on a ski. That's just not a thing you anticipate when you're hiking. Right. And then just the kindness of so many people who've helped me and given me rides and trail magic. Yeah.
Exciting. So even those people, to get back up, they actually came through for you again.
I had 2 different employees. Yeah, I was going to walk all the way up, and one guy took me like a mile, dropped me off. I walked a little more. Another guy saw me and then picked me up and drove me the rest of the way. So
anyway, it's exciting. No, I appreciate you sharing some of those stories.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Yeah.